And let's talk a little bit about money. Both of you had opportunities, and I think about the almost unfairness of giving an 18, 19, 21, 20-year-old millions and millions of dollars without any, of course you have your managers, your business managers and things like that. But and then your career, you're not, like most of us, we work until we retire. You guys retire in your 30s,
Right.
and you got the rest of your life not making that same money but having that lifestyle, that adjustment, maybe going broke. I look at Antoine Walker and so many others. Scottie Pippen had that whole thing with his money being stolen, even Tim
Uh,
Duncan. You
there's
think about that. Yeah, and you, Darius Miles, talk about it a little bit.
It's just like, when you coming out there young, and a lot of people, it's not just the kids' fault. It's like they family don't have financial literacy, and that's something you learn. With me, I had to go all the way to the bottom of the barrel to come all the way back up at the top. Q say this all the time with the show, and we bringing out the show. It's like we got drafted over again, with all the success that we having with the show. And it's just like, now I'm smarter now. Now I want to know more information. Now I want to know in detail of where my money's going, what I'm spending on it, budgeting my bills. This is stuff that I didn't have to do when I first came out. I had financial advisors and other people paying my bills. But I feel like now, me being a man and knowing, and that was one of the things that hurt me the most, when I really realized at 30 some years old that I wasn't a man and I had millions of dollars. It's like you let yourself down. But now it's like, I want to know the details. I want to know about me. I want to know all about me. And financial literacy is something that you definitely got to like invest your time into.
Well,
Craziest thing you spent money on in your 20s,
Ooh.
that, yeah, that you were like, I want that back. I wish I could not. I couldn't
plenty,
do that.
Man,
plenty.
it's what year?
It's not one.
No,
What?
no, plenty. And you, like, that's from somebody that didn't have to, uh, meet the worst circumstances to wake up. So I mean, I think it's funny what you said. You said, we got drafted. He was 18, I was 19. We coming to these millions at that age, right? I would challenge a 45-year-old to get dropped with the bag, and you see how he works out. You see how it goes for them. That's like if they had a social experiment, and you want, because I mean, I get defensive when I hear people talk about us athletes in that manner, because it's like, it's almost triple worse for us, because if you give an adult, a 40, 50-year-old person who's never had any money, and you give them 40 million or $10 million, let's see where they come out with it in
Oh,
5
we
years.
already know. The lottery, everybody that has hit the lotto, the vast majority of them end up broke. Remember the guy that had 5 million bucks? He was broke. I mean, that's like, there's a study already been done on people who hit the lotto. You're right, which tells you in this country, financial literacy should be part of the junior high school, high school. You should know money by the time you graduate from high school, because it's the most important aspect of your life, even if you're not a star athlete.
That's
Yeah.
why I salute the NBA. The NBA I mean, if you look at where we came in 2000 to where they are now with giving these resources to the players. And I was, like I said, I was in 2016, I was director of player development for the Pistons. So I know in detail how much the league is doing and the resources that are being put there to be put in place for financial literacy, whatever you want. Anything you could think of, they trying to put it at their fingertips. So as far as, like, what I'm saying, financial plans, putting different type of plans in place for them, post retirement, like right after you retire, they got different funds for everything now. They trying to make it impossible for us to go broke. So I salute and commend the NBA and the NBPA, because they working together on that, and they, like, from where it was in 2000 when we first got drafted to where it is now for these kids, it's unbelievable.
Of all the sports leagues, the NBA has created an environment for men to become real men. I think it's the best sports league in the history of sports.
Agreed.
And the players, but y'all pushed them into that. It doesn't happen if the players don't draw a line in the sand.
Yeah.
And that's why I have so much respect for the NBA men, because they show up in a way that I haven't seen other athletes in other sports leagues show up fully.
Yeah.
Only thing I would challenge you that is the WNBA. Now the
Well,
WNBA
yes,
doesn't.
I consider them together.
They don't get as much credit, but they were they were bar none, full-fledged, out in front about everything. And obviously they aren't the bigger league, but the WNBA.
Even you saying that makes my point, because we're in a patriarchy. We're in a male-driven society, but that you spoke up for the women.
Yeah.
Speaks to what this, when I think about Kobe with Gigi, and I think about, how y'all, all of the NBA players would show up during the WNBA playoffs. And even during this pandemic and the racial thing, the women you had women leave their careers to go fight for justice, and they're not making the millions of dollars, like you said. So yeah, the WNBA, but when I say that, I'm also considering them in this, in terms of NBA. Yeah,
that was
real.
one of the priorities for us. Like, one of the priorities was to have WNBA women on our show to show how special they are and what they mean to basketball in the general. Like, all basketball is the same, men and women. They all go to the same Hall of Fame. So one of the things that when we came into it was like, we got to get the dopest WNBA women.
First season, it wasn't like we came straight out the gate. First season, we gotta have certain people, and like we had Cappy Pondexter, because she's from Chicago and she's somebody who we all grew up together playing, and like she's a legend. So it made sense. We gotta put Chicago, somebody we know, right up there first, and she represented the females.